I'm going to show you what I would call currently the most broken build in Shadow of the Erdtree. This build inflicts blood loss pretty much every hit, and if it's not every hit, then usually it's every other hit. Inflicting blood loss is really strong in Shadow of the Erdtree because most enemies and bosses have a really high HP pool, but this build also does really high base damage as well. You're watching right now is me killing Mesmer with it, and Mesmer took me probably an hour and 30 minutes to kill with a normal build. Then I came back to retry him with this build, and it only took me 2 tries. Just having this high of damage makes your margin of error way higher for when you'll actually lose to certain things. And so far I haven't really found an enemy that can stand up to this build. The only exceptions really are things like the fire golems that can't take blood loss damage. But pretty much everything else that you run into is going to be a cakewalk. Even the fire golems and stuff, this thing does such high base damage that's already a good weapon in and of itself. And it also does a ton of posture damage, so you'll be constantly posture breaking enemies, and then you can follow it up with heavy attacks and just inflict bleed over and over and keep breaking their posture. At the very least, I could confidently say that right now this build is S tier. So let's get into the build. Currently I'm using Axe Talisman, so my charged attacks do more damage. Lord of Blood's Exaltation, because you're basically always going to have this attack increase active. Blade of Mercy, and this one's really just because you posture break enemies so much with this that you'll be critting a lot. But you could probably substitute this for something like the Two-Handed Weapon Talisman that makes weapons do more damage while you're two-handing. And then I have the Two-Headed Turtle Talisman. And this is just so that I can have more stamina recovery speed, and I can be on the offensive more often. Aside from that, really my armor is just whatever gives me the most defense, but keeps me under medium load. And then the headpiece is White Mask, because like Lord of Blood's Exaltation, it's going to give me an attack boost after inflicting blood loss. And that's basically always going to be active with this build. And this build will still be amazing even without any of those talismans or the mask. What is the most important for this build is having Fiends Arm and having Arcane that's high. So around 50 Arcane and you're going to be doing a ton of blood loss. And a couple of things that are really important to do are you need to put on an Ash that is blood infused on this Fiends Arm. And then also just upgrading the Fiends Arm makes it do more damage. And that's it for this build. I'm going to move on to showing you how to get all the different parts of the build. And I'll start out with the weapon. Then I'll move on to showing where to get Blade of Mercy and Two-Headed Turtle Talisman really quickly. I won't be showing White Mask, Axe Talisman, or Lord of Blood's Exaltation, because I would have to restart the entire game if I were to re-get any of these. The Extra Life wiki has good info on them though. Unlike a lot of the DLC equipment, like Fiends Arm, the wiki is just incorrect right now. It does not come from the cave near Talu's Ruin Forge. So let's go get Fiends Arm. That's really what this build hinges upon, because the weapon at the moment is just completely broken. And I'm going to be starting from Main Gate Cross, Site of Grace. Just here on the map, you can go from 3-path cross and go west through those big gates, and you'll get to this. If you have the Cliff Road Terminus Site of Grace, that's a little closer. It's easy to miss, so I'm going to be starting from this one instead. If you have Cliff Road Terminus, then just skip about 30 seconds. So from Main Gate Cross, I'm going to head to the east towards where the big gate is. And once I get to the big gate, I'm going to hug the wall and head south. We're just going to keep climbing this cliffside path here. And here's that Cliff Road Terminus, Site of Grace. Now from Cliff Road Terminus, we're going to head south. And then where this first dilapidated building is right here, we're going to climb up this part. And you can see that it kind of leads to where this cliff area is and the stairs are. We're just going to climb the stairs. keep climbing up the stairs, wrap around here, then go up this pillar and climb this rubble here. Here, climb this. And then this is where you're going to get Fiends Arm. It's from one of these bloodfiends that has a club up there. There is a stake of Mariko right here in case you die. So don't be too worried about dying. But the one we're going to need is the one that's right next to the sorcerer. Not the one with the fork, but this one. And there is Fiends Arm. If you're having trouble finding out which one it was that I killed, then just kill all of them. Let's start by getting the Blade of Mercy. Closest site of grace to this is the Scorched Ruin site of grace. That's right here on the map. We're gonna get on a horse and head south. Go under these arches. And we're gonna take a right, take a left, and climb these stairs. And climb up this rooftop here. Keep climbing. Take a right here. Climb over all this on this rooftop. Then we need to open this door. And inside this treasure chest is the Blade of Mercy. And the Two-Headed Turtle talisman is pretty hard to find if you haven't already been down to the bottom of the river basin. So I'm going to be starting from Pillar Path Cross, which is to the southeast of Castlefront. But if you've already been down there and you have Rivermouth Cave, just go to the east and then go north through this waterfall. There are also gravestones that descend here. I haven't figured out how to get to these gravestones yet, but they drop down right next to the waterfall as well. I'm going to assume most people haven't been down there yet though, so I'm going to be starting from this Pillar Path Cross. From this site of grace, we're going to head north. And we're just going to keep hugging this cliff. You can see up ahead, there's a spot that you can actually descend. And that is right here on the map. We're just going to descend down all of these rocks. We're going to keep dropping down. And once we've gone all the way down, we need to head to the southwest. Go through this cave near where that big flower plant is. We're going to take this path. Head through here. Keep heading southwest through this cave. And there is a site of grace up here. I think this is Elak River Bottom. From here we're going to go out to the southwest, and then we're going to start heading northwest. Watch out for that area over there. There is a mini boss that comes up. Keep heading north. And where that crab is right where we need to go. If you go to the left of here and just hug the cliff, And where it wraps around, you'll find the Rivermouth Cave. We're gonna go through this waterfall. And in here is the Two-Headed Turtle talisman. That's it for this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, or comment on how this build helped you out, or how much you hate that I showed people this build because it's broken. That's it.